Am I on? Yeah, I'm on. Kathy Vick, deeply awake. Golly, I'm glad I'm home in front of this camera tonight. I have a same feeling that I had since the last couple of days, but it really strongly as I walked in the front door, of what it was like for me when there came a moment in April. I was sitting at the computer, and there was a shift in my energy. There was a swirl and a hit, and it was sustained, and I was staying with it. And I knew right then and there that I was ascending. I could feel it, and I had the computer up, and I realized I needed to record it. The part one was fueled by my white hot anger at the medical community for how they're treating senior citizens' psychiatric conditions and how we're treating seniors in particular. But I mentioned one man's name out of anger and frustration and righteous and many people would say justified outrage at one man's behavior, which creates suffering in hundreds of old people who are sick. It's almost Mengele-like. It's in it, there are issues, and it's really sick. But that whole system is sick. And I saw how very sick, and I did my very best to protect the people in my care. And I as my friend Nancy said, I created an exit strategy. And I was I had it explained, energetically what was going on and stuff. So, and how the break occurred, and I could feel it, and I wrote about it. I could feel something that I said was a purple monolith, and it filled me with this primal terror. And it would approach, and as it approached, it was like when they talk about fractals, and a fractal's like that, and like that, and like that, and it gets faster and faster and faster. It was like that purple monolith feeling. There was a break happening. There was a break happening, and I knew it, and I could feel it in my body. It was terrific. Thankfully, it's documented. And this video is important because I just listened to Cryon's. I sat down at the computer and I said, I need to listen to that one. There was a key phrase that I needed to hear. It'll come to me, perhaps it won't. It was my key phrase. That's the tape I need. And I sat down and I was like, well, the only thing I want to do now that I'm home is listen to Cryon. Weirdly enough, so it went doodle-doop, and then I went to 2003, and then I found it, and it went, and there it was. It was the doors of the ascended DNA. He was explaining what someone who is ascended is like, and what happens to them, and what's going to happen to the planet as more and more people don this energy. Did you notice that light? And so this has been about, I knew at the sync today, because I'd already talked about identity. And I've been really struggling with that, or just thinking about it. Realized in church at the rehearsal, I was there for the spiritual practice. Usually I'm a bad girl and I miss it. I miss the prayer. I'm just here for the singing and the shaking of my ass. Thank you very much. I sat down, listened to this one, and it dawns on me. He's talking about, really having koan cracking time about inside out, outside in. Does that mean I'm living in my soul? What does that mean? And then he sits and talks about living a soul-centered life, and that's what the whole idea that's the whole mission of the church, for goodness sake, is living from your soul, living as a soul, and being honorific of your soul, acting accordingly. Thank you very much. Thinking accordingly, expecting accordingly. So, I thought that, well, that's pretty cool. I could live with that. And I sat down at the computer as I was plunking, a soulful life, a soul-filled life. Well, that's really nice, but it's already freaking trademarked, A, and B, it's not very descriptive. And then I reflect as I'm listening to Crying, I go, holy mother of God. Not only does this pretty much describe what the hell I've been up to, but guess what, gang? Who had the I don't know, foresight, the willingness, the subversiveness, the wisdom, because I've had the practice to know what was going on and know it was time to show what this process is about. Sure, it's ensconced in lots of things, okay? But that's sort of the beauty of this, because I'm not beholden, obviously, to any particular group. I think that's pretty obvious. And I think it's obvious that the doors that he's describing are what has been described. Now, the funny thing is, as I'm sitting here, I'm having two trains of thoughts are going doo, doo, doo. One is that I have human relationships that are just, they're mind-blowing and complicated and beautiful, and like sources of, their fonts of creativity. And I mean, that's where the action is, as far as I'm concerned. Relationship is where it's at. That's where not only the work, but I am beginning to understand a little bit more about how to make it feel less like work, less like obligation, or somehow your duty to, I don't know, bring peace, be a peacemaker, or whatever, or to, stick out like a sore thumb, or to have autistic qualities, or any of those things that you might have as someone who's on the path. But I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, here's the deal. From the beginning, it's a shocker, because I'm sitting here thinking, well, I should just get back on the horn and say, well, it's really not up to me, it's up to you, if I'm an ascended one, right? And that troubles me greatly, because some of my relationships are broken and they got ragged edges. And every time I think about it, I draw blood, because I'm sad that, that things are broken. And it's like, wow, so I have to come to peace with that. All of the human relationships sometimes are difficult and conflicted. And of course that requires a higher perspective, and one that can include the truth of it, that when there are intimate chords struck, and I can reference individuals in my life who I love, but that curiously cannot be limited to a sexual partner or a life partner or that kind of thing. That kind of thick, intimate love is available. I've been talking about it since 12. Between people who are not sexually expressing. Although I think often when there is a good connection, acknowledgement of sexuality sometimes, pops up. There's, at least questioning about your marital status, and that's introducing sexuality. So to say that we're not sexual beings, we're not measuring each other, that's the lower agreement field, with sexuality and sexual expression. But, in these kind of relationships that are deep and beautiful and profound and fonts of spiritual growth and harmony and healing of self and others, well, those can be of many different varieties. And they're all quite satisfying. And the thing is that I've always thought that because I have conflicts with others, then therefore I don't have that status. And I'm beginning to realize that, when I have conflict with others, it's because I have, and they've been talking about it, holy crap have they been talking about it since the beginning, the antidote for guilt. Want to know it? They told me about it. They ran the energy through my body and explained it and all that crap. I don't know, passed out on the recliner, and they schooled me, and I came to with these visions and crap like that. And then they explained the antidote of doubt. Well, the really bad shit that happens that you have considered bad, and maybe it's restriction, maybe you get arrested and you're in jail. Maybe whatever, you're in some kind of horrible situation, right? There's plenty of them to choose from. Are you kidding me? Okay, so, and maybe you caused it. Ooh, maybe you're the one to blame and you know it, whether anyone else does or not. Or you think you are. See? And oh, that's so heavy. It feels so bad. I fucked up. I hurt somebody. Oh, yeah. Want to know the antidote for that? There's nothing that comes between people who at that level of remorse that was not by agreement, prior agreement, and mutual sustained agreement, solic agreement, and request from that soul. Boom. That's how reality works. So I'm walking around today, before all this crap happened, thinking, wow, last 3 days have been mind-blowing. Really, since Friday, it's just been, what? It just keeps getting amped up and amped up and amped up. I'm thinking it's just about, taking responsibility. And not blaming anybody for anything ever again, anymore. That's just bullshit. That's just not being very creative. Yes, you're my captor. Yeah. I'm in a prison cell and you have the key. Yeah. Sure. I'll play along. That's a dumbass game. It's bullshit. But, it's a fun game. And that's all it is. And I played it with, oh my God, I can't even, I can't count on both hands how many people I played that one with. And so, yeah, okay, so that's that. That's kind of neat. So I'll be tacking along this crayon thing that just sort of went, whoa, hey, wait a minute, hey. And he's talking about, okay, that's the one I picked. This is the one where he's like a full-on ascensionist. That's all he's talking about is ascension and DNA and consciousness and behavioral changes. So I don't feel so bad now. And I really needed to be reminded, I knew it all day long. I need to be reminded sometimes of how it's supposed to be, because I get fuzzy, and here's why. I think I might end with this. So I'm at the computer before all this begins. I'm thinking, yeah, I should just throw a video up and just yammer again. That'd be fun. And I'm thinking, wait a minute here. Because the thought was, I should just once again say, well, you know, it's not up to you. I mean, it's not up to me, it's up to you. Tell me whether I'm ascended or not. Ha! Well, you know what? I take that back. It's been rescinded as of today, as of tonight, as of what time is it? This should be fun. 7:46. I don't like those numbers at all. 7:46:01. Oh well, whatever. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It's meaningful, blah, blah, blah. I just don't think it's very pretty. Anyway, 16:38. That's not pretty either. Hey, what's going on around here? Anyway. Yeah, I think that's dopey. And I think that's been the reason for this journal, actually. Among other things. I mean, at the beginning they said it was a historical document. And yeah, I mean, in certain circles, yeah, it will be. Yeah. I did a really good job here. The whole thing is magnificently done. Perfectly timed. Beautifully. And there was nothing, and I'm speaking as them, there was nothing this one would not do, if told. She knew the feeling. She knew the feeling. She would drop anything. If she evaluated it and understood, no, this is not correct. Now it's time. Oftentimes not knowing what came next. But knowing it was time to move. And often being filled with nothing but exhilaration. But the point is not to sever things. The point is to change. To be willing to metamorphosize. To be willing to morph. To be willing to live concepts. Try them out. Reject them. Begin to feel with some sort of sense that stretches out and has lines and buzzes and rings and sings and has numbers and it's beautiful. And this is data that, you know, just turns out to be emotion or intuition. It's the beat. But this one is an obedient one. There was an essay written entitled Obedience. It's the guru path. Oh, did that light fires? It's a path that is little understood and often maligned. But it's a path that actually acknowledges multiplicity, we would suggest. When you recognize yourself in a different form, containing more information and more love than you, well then, it's time to get to work. It is true what the Bashar says about core souls, and of course he is very scientific with it and has a different energy and flavor than the Cryon. The Cryon, when he talks about this, and it's not often. Notice the screen. Imagine, if you would, there's just a group, large, who just due to their biologic history, we're going to explain a different way. The Crown did a channel, which is a core teaching about a tree in a forest, which over time grew tendrils and then saplings and then trees. What happens then? There's always more. More trees. More trees. More trees. Soul multiplicity is that. And what it means is being able to simply tap in to a different mind, to more information, you see? It has nothing to do with divinity, or being better than, or smarter than, or whatever than. It's not about that. It's about where you can travel, and how interested you are in that. Do you think that my ability to do this kind of crap holds a lot of weight with some people? Not yet. And that was a problem when I was saying, well, it's not up to me, it's up to you. Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a problem. And so, handing off my, hey, it's whatever I am, well, that's completely up to you. Don't tell me about it. Just, have fun with that. What the fuck? Well, that's, I don't know. So consider this a patch-up or something. Because it's not up to you to tell me if I'm ascended. I know where I've been. I know what I've seen. I know who I know. And I know what I know. And that leads me to an interesting point and a great place to stop, so I can see who the heck has been dinging me, and let this settle. It's not like I haven't been hinting around about this. No veil, all access, all that stuff. So, I mean, yeah, that's sort of the point. To just be cool with it. That's what I've always said. Just be chill. Well, I think it's the fourth point. Oh, I know what I'm going to end with. I had a really big frickin' thing happen to me at choir. Holy crap! I gotta tell you about it. But, alright, so the fourth point was that, oh, holy crap, did I lose my fourth point? Possibly. That happens. I go too fast. I get so excited. I don't trust Kathy. That's about not trusting. And it's also calibration of the channeling state. Hasn't Cran always said that, there's going to come a time when channeling's going to be something that's not done anymore. It's not going to be needed. Why would there be a partition? Why couldn't? And that's always really pissed me off. You mean I have to sit down and breathe and do all this crap? That's bullshit. Come on now. Why do I have to go through all that ritual to talk to my soul? That doesn't seem quite right. I mean, and that's what I've realized, is that I have lived. It's not that I sat on the risers of the choir and realized I want to live a soulful life. No, it's not like that at all. I listened to him talk and I realized, holy God, that's all I've lived. That's all I've ever done. And I've taken crap for it, I'll tell you that. Because I've just been who I am. Because I can't do anything else. I mean, bad things happen to me if I behave badly. So I don't behave badly. Bad things start happening. And I have to manage my energy carefully. So I'm mindful. I'm very forgetful. But I'm very, clear about how I focus my energy on whom and on, toward what and everything like that. But what I'm realizing, and I know this is scattered, I wish I could remember that fourth point, is that this really is about me defining me and living a soulful life. Well, sure, that, as they say, the proof is in the pudding, and guess what? It's pudding time. Oh, fourth point. Whee! They said, okay, well, there's going to come a time when it doesn't make any sense to holler and yell about it. Well, if he said, if you know all things, why do you have to keep, verifying it? And I just had that thought group today. It came in a group, and it was just like, it's been coming. Purposefulness in expression, but not for me. What is the purpose of my speaking? Who am I addressing? And what am I saying? Why am I saying it? And I've made a reference to this before, but it's much more strong now. Of, I really don't have to prove anything. And I don't have to really say anything. And that's, haven't I always bitched? People don't recognize me. They don't honor me, blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, fine. I keep getting, there's some people who couldn't recognize what I hold. They couldn't recognize it. So, am I going to walk around PO'd about that? Or can I just let it be? And just be okay with the people who just, think that I'm not okay. Because trust me, I mean, I kind of emit an odor. People either like me or they don't. And that's what I think's changing. Because I used to be very clear about who I liked and who I didn't like. And I didn't like certain people. And my sister and I would both comment on that. What do you do when you really can't stand somebody? They're just awful. They're just awful. What, you pretend you like them? So we both kind of, because we grew up in a home, it's just like, we're done pretending everything's cool, just stop it. If you're going to be a jerk, just keep it to yourself. And so it was like that, but just kind of like prickly. And it was hard sometimes because I didn't like a lot of people. I was very judgmental. And I don't know, I think it was just the contrast, just trying to figure out who I was. So I'm very accepting, and I'm not judgmental now. But ew. And that's what happened. That's what happened before. And when I've reached certain areas, I look back and go, oh, P.U. I did that. I behaved that way. Oh my God. I hope my friends have as much amnesia as I do. Because I acted like a jerk. Because I didn't know any better. And the only thing I can do to repair it is just to act better. I mean, there are some things that are just, you could just go forward and act better. Whatever. Agreement and request. That's what I say. Agreement and request. No more guilt. I'm done with that shit. So, I've spent, the last week coming out. Interesting timing, don't you think? Good God. It's looking back going, what? That is so extraordinary. Look at that synchronicity. And the thing about synchronicity, it's quantum. So you stick it in front of people and they're going to see what they're going to see. And to some, it's a full-on miracle. That's why I always ask for my synchronicity. Hey, you guys. Hey, from here on out, here's a deal. When it's something big in my life, I did this like in 12. Because I love to paint with big, wide brushes. Hey, when it's a big deal, I want synchronicity. I want it so thick that someone who has, not very much brain power could take a look at it and go, oh, holy crap, the finger of God is all over that one. Holy shit. Tell me that story again. Like that. That's how I want my synchronicity. Make it thick. Make it fun. Make me laugh out loud. Let me have some joy. Let me have some freedom. Line it up. I don't know how. It's not my job to know how. It's your job to know how. My job to ride the waves. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to change. A little bit. It already has begun. It's more like just owning it. Yeah, so I got magic, so what? Yeah. Why do birds suddenly appear? Oh, I don't know. It's just how I'm built. Well, that and, I don't know, a lifetime of devotion and just being old and knowing a thing or two. And tonight, the teachers were here and they giggles, more like chuckles. They weren't gigglers. And, you remember now, us telling you many times, quite forcefully, and then showing you, yes, dear one, showing you. You've done this before. This is not your first rodeo. How many times did we say that, huh? Many. Yes. Nelda. Someone who would have the sense to turn on a camera when she felt her Merkaba transforming, wanting to translate it and give it to you, to the world, so they could see what it's like, because she has no Elisha. She do. And the energy has been conferred. The mantle has been passed. However, there's no one around to record. Don't need no one. She prefers it. So, the second point with the crayon tip of those who walk the planet in this status, it is part of the balance of the planet. We have talked about the geometrics of the old ones, and we told her about it in the 90s, and she had to listen. It was her job to listen, and she will know where to go and what to do. That was her job. So, that is what she did. And her hearing got better and better. Can't you tell? Yes, that is the primary mode of communication. This is why she thirsts to be read to, because it soothes. Sound is soothing. It is also healing and quite powerful. And so, the aversion to the writing, well, this has been taken personally as something that is bad, that she is failing humanity in some way because it's so lyrical and beautiful. But she can see now, can you not, in this state? It is wise to have a visual record, because can you not appreciate the changes, but can you not also appreciate that even very early in April, talking about healing, there is a quality. And the content is not channeled. It is coming from experience, from her heart, from something that is bigger, that she is, has been, and always will be. So for her, yes, she knows. She has a counterpart who lives in the Himalaya. Old, physical, ancient. And they are brothers. They are sisters. They are fused. And she knows of others. And it is good. It feels good. It lends balance. It gives peace. But for her, yes, set apart to some degree, voluntarily to some degree, readjusting, completing the process. Because she see the energetics today, and she understand how easy things become with her fellow man. And she has this proof. She sees how fused she is becoming consciously. And this is what has been missing. Claiming what has been there all along. And feeling no shame about it. Understanding others suffer. Able now, more than ever, to assist. So, an interesting transmission, don't you think? Much that was discussed early on, well, it has barely been reviewed. It's going to be very interesting. There's a flavour to some of it. It is funny. But it keeps morphing and changing. We would suggest that the reason that the relinquishment of, when she was talking as we, and clearly channeling, there is an energetic difference to what is going on. It feels much like this, where there is a larger or bigger passion that is just alive and aware and guiding so beautifully in concert, guiding the lips and the tongue. She does not remember the words often, and this is why the video again is very important, as are the words. The words are very important. She's grateful for the written word. It has a sturdiness for her. This does not. But of course, this is important right now. She understands, yes, oh well, how much talking can you do? Has she not already said that? Wanting completion of this process, but really not ever saying it that way, never putting it that way, ever. How presumptuous to presume that a process of ascension can be complete. Don't go there. This is ongoing. This is how she held her consciousness. But there is a bridge. And once across, there is another life. This face now is one that is moving and changing, as it has done in the past when the ancients come out to play. It is a beautiful experience for her, because the physical face is not her own, but flashes with other faces, other visages, other clothing. This is the experience she had when she first met us. It was during her near-death experience at NDE, after we made her acquaintance in the casino. In this vision, she was in a circle of 12 light beings, their faces flashing. Millisecond. Impossible to see the facial features. Neither did they have outfits or clothing or costuming of any kind, just white robes and flashing faces. She said, "Hey, who are you? I thought I was going to be meeting the Saint Men, and I would know who Mother Mary is, and I would be able to say hello to my friend. Oh, I miss him so much. I want to see the Jesus. Now come on. Who's who?" And we say, "Well, that's impossible, dear one. We live so many lives. You know what you are seeing are the akashas of our lives, the accumulation of our beings. And so, it's impossible to give you one face. That's silly. You know us by how we feel, what we say, how we move you, the information we give you. You know us by our energetic signature, dear. And you know this when you read about the Ascended Masters. You dive into Serapis Bey. You feel differently than when you dive into Lady Nada. La. The different energies. Okay. See? So it's like that. So, is Saint Germain in here? Well, of course. He gave you your first recipe, dear. He was the first one to come visit you. So, of course, he's here. But who isn't here? This was the first NDE. And then she described it, and then she goes spinning. She say, oh, well, I understand that some things have happened, and I can spin now. And if I'm going to hang around, then I'm going to have some fun with this. So we tell you what happened on those bleachers, and then we close. Oh, how esoteric can you get? Well, here we go. So we on the bleachers, or the seats or whatever, on the stage, doing the staging and the performing and things like that. And there's a meditation where the fellow says, oh, well, living a soul-filled life, that's what we're all about, baby. Things like that. Oh, he's her favorite because he makes people laugh. He's so funny. He's so light, so full of joy, but so deep, so profound. Ha! Beauty itself. Beauty itself. So, he's talking, and we're talking. And we tell her a little bit about what is going on. And then we say, she always is very, very sad when she gets on the thingies because she doesn't have a beloved. For some reason, in that particular group, the longing for that particular life is so strong. And it weighs, it's like taffy. It hurts. I don't have enough, I never have enough, la 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 la. And just lots of drama, and oh my God. Beautiful people, but this is how she feels. And it's very, very, it stirs up the social anxiety, yes, because of the presentation at times is a bit weird. So there you go. Anyway, we're sitting with her and we're saying, okay, here's the deal. Here's what you need to understand about the rest of the way, okay? Okay. Who do whales swim with? Sure. They have lots of little animals that swim with them. Who do they swim with? They swim with other whales, dear one. And in proportion, how many whales are there? In relation to other fish. Okay? So, what the Nancy said is true. Her team told her in the 80s, hey, here's the deal. You're not like a lot of people around here. And you're going to have to get used to that. And she go, oh, yay. And this one go, oh, shit. And beat herself up for many years. But this was the orientation she had, and this is the switch. This is everything, dear. This is the brass ring. So, who is it up to tell her if she is ascended? You or her? She's been putting it off, Sure, she'll toe around it and say ascension status. She has never come out and said that she is one. Ever. And if she has, she was certain. But this is different. Who's in charge here? Who gets to decide my reality? When it comes to something this big, well, it was very important to have proof on the outside. Why? Well, look at this document, dear. That was the point. That was the reason for the feverish doubt. This was explained. Because, Virgo ascendant, quite the researcher. Yes, that's quite the natal chart. That's quite the life design. Or human design, whatever. It all fits, it all fits. It all fits. As does all the Jesus stuff. And that's all numerologic, and it's all annotated and all that stuff. It is solid. So let it be. And do you need to talk about it? 4949, those are pretty numbers. Do we really need to talk about it anymore? Well, that brings up a question. Is she sitting down at the computer? Imagine that. All this time I say, well, I want to be done with this deeply awake. I got other things I want to do. I got 5 other books I want to write, plus a textbook or whatever they want to do. And plus I have, I want to get going with my life. I have many people in my life I love and want to be around more. And yes, this satisfies me in a way that being with people never could. But the idea is to swim with other whales, yes? And then the loneliness is cut. And so this has been part of the teaching tonight, yes, there have been many in her life who she loves quite dearly, more than she can say, and who she have chosen not to come along. Many who have put it down, and many who have minimized, many who cannot see it. So, and then some who recognize something and say no. And this is the way of it, and that's fine. It's a good thing. And then those who say yes. But the thing is that this is so much about timing and life path and things like that, and intention. And this one is simply just keyed. That's all. And so she's beginning to realize that there are certain things that are just not available, and certain things that are. And it's all good. It's all precisely the way she wants it. But the eyesight's getting better. Inner eyesight, foresight, and simply the guidance system, which is good. So these risers, we were sitting there and telling her, this is the way of it. And you'll be able to understand and feel. You use your feelings. When it's no longer time to resent anyone for where they're at, or what they choose to do. This has been a day of forgiveness and of release. And of great connection and love. Realizing that there are so many that there really is nothing else as a basis for any relationship he has. And they are all blessed. There is not one situation. We showed her this last night. Beautiful visual. We have told her from the beginning, this is not a survival lifetime. Put that out of your mind. You're protected. This is not a survival lifetime. And she has known for a long time. Those around her are also protected. Those she loves. They're protected. Touched with something. It's just how it is. And she always knew it and didn't understand it. This is all becoming clear. We are so gratified to hear her say out loud, I know this is not a psychiatric delusion. And that's and I think this is why it's so important to indulge the discussion of mental illness throughout this discussion and throughout this reveal, so to speak, because being a veteran practitioner in psychiatric hospitals, just one knows a thing or two about delusions of grandeur, personality structure, behavioral models of treatment and disease. Well-rounded, we say. Very well-rounded. Bravo. Well done. Well done. But in the end, yes, how much yama yama do you need to do? So, sitting at the computer saying, well, it would appear I might finally be able to do stand-up. I can finally write comedy. What a relief. Because that's really the only thing she likes to do, is to laugh. Yes, well, it gets deep. Comedy comes from a very deep well. But absurdity, well, that makes that makes the world go round. Absurdity reminds you. Not everything that you see that you're taking seriously is maybe even real. And now let's have a chuckle about it. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What a beautiful, powerful medium. So we play. We have Annie, the comic writer, the first entity, so to speak, to come through when she sit down and say, okay, I think I want to be a channeler. Well, obviously, she wanted to be a channeler. She did not think us pure enough or, good enough. But finally, with enough encouragement from us, she sat down and, she blanked out and she did the automatic writing and then she read it and it was the funniest thing she'd ever read. And the entity's name was Annie. And so she go to us and she's all upset. I didn't get the Gabriel. I didn't get wings. I didn't get the mantle of light. I got a comedy writer. And so we say, well, that's pretty good. But yes. So who knows? But it's not been yama yama. Oh my God. Oh, you listen to the crayon and you do it first. Okay? And then those who have been listening along, following along, we ask you, just as an observer, just as a researcher, how close do you think? How close? What is this phenomenon then? And it's not like she's, being coy about it. She's quite clear what she's doing. Isn't she? Is she mimicking the crayon? Or is she amplifying the crayon? Complementing the crayon? Well, we leave that up to you. But not whether this is legit. How about that? From this night forward, which happens to be a 9. What is that, my dear? That is the number of what? Well, that would be completion, wouldn't it? So there you go. Welcome home. So you adjust. And so you are well with your soul, and we hope others are well with theirs. We understand if you are not, and we only give you these breadcrumbs. Haven't we always said that these are breadcrumbs? And she has said, well, I feel so good, and then I feel so rotten, and so what I do is I leave myself breadcrumbs. So when I feel good, and I understand a few things, and my head is clear, and I am being loving of myself and others, and I understand a few things, I write it down. And it's not so much for you, dear viewer, it is for she. Because she's been blessed. It is a gift that we gave her of poor memory, faulty memory. Memory that is said to be poor and faulty, but is actually multidimensional rather than linear. It was a gift that she was conferred. We have talked about it only once. As such, she needs to have repetition. Not when it comes to robotic things. She gets that down fine. And in the, linear reality, she's fine. Oh, she can sequence things just fine. But yes, it's something that allows her to compensate and to do things that you wouldn't normally have to do. It's interesting. And it makes for repetition. You place that with the doubt and plop that into a big soul who is ready to do it again on camera. That's the agreement this lifetime. To get here. What is here? 12-9-9. No, 12-9-12. Interesting. 12-9-16. That's what it is. 12-9-16, which is a 9. Skip. Perhaps an important day. One to look back into the blog about, perhaps. Just for fun. Certainly, last year's essay was profoundly important. So, that is that. We come to give a gift of completion. And it comes with a simple flip. Who's deciding what around here? Do you get to decide if I am a threat or do I? Do you get to decide if I love you or do I? And then there's mutuality. Well, that's interesting. But, I know who I am. There is no further need to validate to see if you agree with me. Most of this is not understood by a lot of people. Most of it, people run away. But sometimes they get mad. Most of them are simply not interested. So be it. Glad you're all coming along for the ride. Are you beginning to understand what it is you're witnessing? We are glad to have the companion of the crayon to serenade this beautiful dance. So, we want to go. This is a long video and well worth the viewing vigor we feel. Because in the end there's nothing to say. Time to move on. La la la, that was interesting. Like the tombstone she wants. Just simply, that was weird. So, there you go. Happy completion day all.